Steps Barrett.
So I'm Stu Williams here with Don Barrett. We're looking back on what is undoubtedly the greatest moment in Weber Cup history.
Pretty much like that for the duration.
Yeah, it was a pretty special this one, Stuart, taking us back.
The latest here.
Yeah. I was a little lighter and you had a little more hair.
A lot more hair, yeah.
We were quite in the hole going into this this final day, and we for the last session we found the special balls, didn't we?
There was yeah, we were, like I said, we were quite far down. There was one pattern that stood out, and we got to choose it, and it was a shorter one. So we went and grabbed the urethane balls, picked the short pattern, and it went quite well. Wes was pretty nervous. Couldn't let go of the ball.
Yeah, West seemed to be the only guy on either side who made the reactive balls look really good on this. Mika didn't have one. He stayed with his reactive ball and just used his hand. But me, you, and Martin, we took out our urethane balls and we put up some pretty high scores, as memory serves.
Yeah, Martin got us started in the end. He had that 280 game, beating Barnes' 279, and that got that whole session started for us. So yeah, Wes, I remember he threw it in the gutter early in his singles match, and he actually won. I think was that against Mika.
Yeah, I think that was the decisive match to take it, because we actually got ahead amazingly in that session, and then we got to pick the opposition's player, and I still remember Mika was playing him, and West threw it in the gutter, and we were like, oh my god, we're going to win. And then West threw probably the 7 best shots I've ever seen to get right back into the match, and we bowled this Baker. And I think the coolest thing about this was that coming down the stretch, because it's Baker, everybody has to bowl good. Like, there's no way that you can, carry a guy in a Baker game.
Pops it down onto that tidy line that he's managed to play.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? It was the best team experience I've ever been a part of, and the fact we all did that together was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and of course we got off to a pretty good start, and we were just that little bit behind because of the spare. But we started to build, and we started to build, and but the American team just wouldn't go away, would they?
As much respect as I have for the
they had our number for a few years before this, and we had to turn it around. I think we may have won the year before, but this one might have been the first one back. But yeah. Hopefully Billy continues that this year. He's never really with that lane. We have to remind him about that.
Yeah, I reminded him a little bit when I did a preview with him on our channel, laughing about whether we were going to see English Bill O'Neill back.
It is a makeable spare. Give it a shot. Oh, and he
of course, when we use urethane and they're using reactive, it changes the lane so much faster.
Resist the applause.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had the T-shirts from this very moment as well when we saw Barnes. Barnes looking a little distressed for when he came back. I never regret that. Everybody talks to me about, oh, you shouldn't have done that. I still think that was brilliant.
Yeah. So it's still close.
So I'm not sure how many more years Mika bowled on Weber Cup after this. He went to become a coach.
I think this was actually Mika's last. This was Mika's last one, because I think the year after we had Oscar come in.
I mean, there is plenty of room for error
to replace Mika.
Points it in quite beautifully from the corner, but
so good at those angles.
Yeah, it was amazing, the tension that night. Every time somebody didn't strike, it was like back over to their team.
In this tournament.
Then they'd go up and strike, and then of course the pressure was all back on our team again, and vice versa. It flipped and flopped quite a few times during the match. And for us, we were just, it felt like, to me anyway, that Barnes and West were going to always strike. But our best chances was a miss by Tommy or Bill, because they were just so much more comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it definitely felt that way. Wes was unbelievable in that pattern. He was probably the best out of all of us, and Martin was unbelievable too. Barnes had his EPX that was like his urethane.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them down towards there.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Now then, TJ.
Sorry, carry on, mate.
No, I was just saying, Tommy was going up here, and like usually Tommy was really good on these patterns where he could throw it a long way to the right, but I don't know, it just seemed like there was no reason why they should struggle so much on this pattern, but they just really did, and it was amazing. It felt like the longer it went, the more that they felt like they were under pressure, because the pattern itself wasn't very difficult, and I think in hindsight, we created that aura that, you know, that you could only strike with the urethane ball, and I think it really got in their head.
I'm trying to think, was this game 3 on this oil, wasn't it?
I think it was actually game 2. I think they re-oiled for that one, the MVP match or whatever it was. They pick your opponent.
Back to Team Europe.
Deal. So I mean, Martin bowled incredible that night. That might be the best I've ever seen Martin bowl.
It really is in the
that night. It was just. I think that 7 felt like the only shot he missed.
Yeah, he got us off on that run, the first match of that evening on that pattern, and I think he was probably the most comfortable with urethane out of all of us, and off he went. He took down Barnes, and we never looked back, really.
3 frames, so Team Europe need him striking. Throwing that nicely. Oh, he's unlucky.
See, commentators cursing in history.
And it did come
oh, Martin never missed.
To
Bang.
Contact the 10, but he didn't knock it over.
This might have been one of the few times the whole night where, like, we had a run of 2 or 3 shots where it didn't strike. It felt like every time we got it anywhere near the head pin we were striking that night, everything went our way.
Did, yeah. I mean,
once again,
I guess I think the tension and the Baker obviously I think plays a big part as well. You don't get to throw as many shots, sit down, you have to wait, try not make any mistakes for your teammates.
On to make his own spare, so
yeah, I mean, we were really, I mean, it was pretty clear that it should have been you and Martin taking the extra shots. And then after 2 shots, and of course mine struck, and I bowled 2 pretty good games as well. I was sat there and I'm like, man, maybe I should have taken an extra shot or whatever. And but we, at this point, we were still like a little bit ahead.
Yeah,
and you know, Bill still had to bowl another shot, so I was feeling pretty good with our situation because Bill's reaction was so bad.
Of the game here in frame 5.
It's good.
That's the most I've ever seen Barney hook an EPS.
Team USA captain.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to him a couple of times about it, and he said that he really doesn't know why he did it, like why he started hooking it so much, because he didn't feel, he just felt like with the other guys on his team, it was easier to communicate if he hooked it more. And I'm like, wow, it seemed like it was easier just to throw a strike. But I mean, he started off with 2 strikes there, so he obviously had a pretty good reaction doing both.
Yeah, that's what he does. He can do anything he wants. It's all the success I've seen him have on the shorter patterns. Literally up 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back. The deciding match is underway to see who will lift this year.
What time at night was this? It was obviously a Sunday night. I can't remember what the time was. It was getting on though.
It was late because I remember there was a little bit of animosity as we were packing up. I think that made it all about. It showed how much everybody cared.
Sensational finish.
Exactly, yeah.
All or nothing in the Baker team.
Getting towards midnight, I think.
Yeah, and this was the second time that we were actually bowling for prize money. Like there was a real difference, you know, between winning and losing at the same time. You know, it wasn't just pride.
No messing about from Barrett. That's through the head pin. That's left 4. That's a low.
I still think when you got up and shot this spare, that this was one of the best spares I've ever seen. Like in the situation. And like leaving that thing is just, it's awful. Like there isn't there's just, it's just awful.
8 and the 9.
My right shoulder hit the floor on that one. Wasn't too good.
Let's amend that to the 3.
Still got that same trait today.
To get to those pins that are down in that diagonal line.
Definitely some tension.
6 and the 10. Not so easy to get to the sleeper just behind them.
Yeah, I can't really remember the moves or what we were trying to create.
Yep. Tricky little spare under pressure. It's got to get that 9
No.
at the back.
Try and get the 3-9.
Got it.
But there you go.
to Dominic Barrett.
I mean, I was sat next to Mika, and Mika made like some comment like, "Wow, what a spare" or something. And when you get a guy as good as Mika saying that to you, you know that like that was awesome.
At the moment, this ball that
is
going to throw.
They
And
goes
at this
again.
point, I guess we were going to finish the match first, and with the 10 pins behind, and we had one shot left each.
Scores on the doors.
You know, all of that comeback, and me and Martin were sat there, and we're just like, we didn't come this far, you know, to not win. Like it would have really sucked to have done all of that to not win. And I mean, this is when this game hit the overdrive button pretty quick here.
He's bowled 2 balls.
Everybody knew that this was like, we basically bowled a 5-frame game for the, you know, for all the tea in China, so to
That's how it's
speak.
shaping up so far. Don't forget, Team USA still have Tommy Jones.
Almost couldn't be better poised, could it? 10 pins.
Come to the line, and they have
like the other team knows that they've got to. If you strike out, they've got to basically strike out as well.
Team Europe find their line on this. They tend to be pretty consistent.
It was a while ago now. I can't really remember my thoughts and stuff like that. What we were talking about. Do you?
No, not really. I just think that when you were getting up, everybody was in the same mindset. You know, just make sure you take as much time as you need. Like, don't be at that point. You know,
he's just going to.
If it doesn't feel quite right, just stop. Like, we're at the point of no return now.
Talking to yourself there. Come on, Stu. You're not ready. Come.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you were in that point. You knew you only needed to throw one good shot. Like, if you threw one good shot each.
It's wide, but it's come back nicely.
Right.
Yeah, give him the business.
Was looking nervous, and then he realised it was reacting.
I wonder if that was a move after my one hooked, and I'm not sure.
I was kind of nervous.
I don't know, but I got it a long way to the right. Look at that.
Yeah.
But it came roaring back like a
16 pounds.
Hit the 1-3 pocket.
I think the thing for me on that pattern, if I remember rightly, was
Look at that.
I just needed to get it to the right. The only time I ever missed was when I got it on the oil too much. So on that shot, I probably just committed to, you know, make sure you get it to the right. And then we were feeling pretty good until this happened.
Yeah.
Bill threw a strike. We're like, oh, we might be in a bit of trouble here.
I think I remember with the urethanes, us telling us we were trying to make sure we oversurface and get them reading as early as we could. That's how we weighed the strike for them.
But Bill had struggled so bad that you were kind of like, in the back of your mind, you were always thinking, well,
Tommy Jones
he's got the worst reaction of anybody on the pair. Like, that was the one where you kind of, it wasn't that you expected him to miss, but you were just like, that was almost a bit of a comfort blanket, it felt like, because, like I say, his reaction was so poor.
Yeah. Give us a chance, Bill.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, Mika had thrown the ring 10 the frame before. And, I mean, it's funny because I think I asked him when he came back, he goes, what did you do? And he goes, I made it strike.
Into the pack.
He's the best.
The Moose celebrates once again. And he returns to his seat.
Yeah, it's 2 strikes in a row for the European side, and it's the European captain that's put it on the board. Full width of the lane. Great response.
Always great at those angles.
Fantastic feedback.
Yeah. He was always great at that point of, like, he'd thrown so many more important shots than all of us combined, you know, in his career.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant captain's role.
It was like bowling with Mika was. It was definitely educational, wasn't it? Like how calm he was in those situations, no matter how bad it was.
This is the moment.
Yeah, always.
Like, they get through this one
really
with a strike from Tommy Jones.
And very positive as well for a Finnish bowler.
Yeah,
always positive about it.
I think he's only negative about himself.
Uh-oh.
He's going to prolong the agony for him.
If in doubt, pull out.
We're all feeling it, aren't we? That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and of course it's so quiet in there, and the audience is so close.
Team USA have got 3 strikes in a row.
It's fun. I mean, people don't understand when it gets to those later matches. You can almost hear individual people breathe. It's like it's bizarre. It's very there is a lot of tension.
the start of the week, we were always trying to just get used to the lane, get used to the environment. But by now, we're completely used to it, completely feel at home. Now it's just about throwing good shots, which isn't always that easy in these moments. But
he's got his strike.
That was pretty good. I have to give it to him. That was a pretty good shot.
You kind of knew
yeah, that's Tommy.
Loose after that one.
So we're at the point now where
Fantastic looking shot from
it feels like you and Martin need to get them all, and we probably need to get a we probably need to get a good break, because it didn't feel like Barnes or West were going to miss the pocket. Certainly didn't for me anyway, and I felt very similar about you two. I was pretty confident that you knew what you were going to do in your mind after the 6 count. You knew the move you were going to make. You just had to commit to it, but it definitely felt like at this point we needed all of the strikes.
Yeah, I think we're sitting there going, it's out of our hands now. We have to strike out for a chance. It's out of our hands. They can shut us out, and that's going to be that. But we definitely have to strike out.
4 pins for a tricky spare. I saw Europe's score plummet. The USA, however, had 4 strikes with the help of Tommy Jones' last visit to the lane.
It seems a little over the top.
Narrow lead as the foundation frame is about to be played.
Tommy Jones has done his bit. He sits down.
So Martin actually hadn't thrown a strike up until this point.
Foundation frame.
No.
He had the 7 spare, and then he had the flat 10, and I'm just thinking to myself, Martin, get it to the right. Just trust it to the right.
Without doubt.
I almost was at the point with mine where I didn't care if it overhooked. I just didn't want him to miss in again.
And he's going to remain
And that one was like absolute no doubt.
Punches the air.
There we go.
All 10 disappear. And USA once again asked to deliver in.
That makes the Weber Cup so special. It's going to be different this year, but the reactions that we have with the crowd and
what a great looking shot
what
from Martin
they bring for us as well.
Great reaction in the back end, great reaction in the pocket.
No, definitely.
Carries all 10, 3 strikes in a row.
You mean
well played?
You mean you're not going to be screaming at empty seats?
Your place
Maybe.
in history books is assured.
Definitely have.
Yeah, if Pete Weber came, he might start an argument with an empty seat.
Looked very solid in this Baker. Has looked very solid on this.
So here it was. I'm still in shock watching this shot over and over again from Chris.
Went after it.
Oh no! And that might be Weber Cup 15 gone for Team USA.
Was, because of the way the count was,
hard to believe.
As soon as he did that,
it's the 10 split.
It felt like it was over.
And look at those two standing.
I mean, it probably didn't feel as much that way for you because you were the one who had to throw the shot at the 10th frame. But Chris goes up and takes the count, and of course now you kind of had that where you could get away with it. Like an 8 spare would have still been fine.
In Weber Cup 15,
it was like the worst possible scenario for them. A split in that frame, like even a spare, and you'd have needed 2 in the 10th.
Yeah.
But it's a place
9 spare, you'd actually needed, to get both in the 10th to shut them out.
An 8 spare 9 or something like that now, don't I?
And now.
Yeah,
Dominic Barrett steps up into
at the time I turned to Mika and I'm like chatting with Mika about it, and I'm like, Dom's going to take ages and it's going to be good. I told him, I was like, I've never felt more confident of anything in my life than that you were going to get this, just finish this off.
I just got 6. All right.
I was good.
I remember my move a bit. I think I was a little bit different to you. I wasn't trying to get it quite as far right, but I was moving my feet left as well. So it's very easy to get that 210 move from doing that 3-6-10. But yeah, you just commit, don't you? You get up there, you commit. Throw it as good as you can.
Do his job for Team Europe. He's done in style.
Like, you let go of this, and it was about, I don't know, about halfway down the lane, and just pandemonium and
this is all part of the team, but once that ball return is left, he will just load the ball up, and away he goes. Dominic Barrett to write the next chapter in Weber Cup history. It's there! Oh, it's there! What a massive strike from Dom Barrett, and what a
massive result for Team Europe.
And here come the blue wigs.
It's been 3 days of scintillating ten-pin bowling.
Pretty heavy and get a few more pins.
And
then that was about it.
Yeah, it was.
Come on.
But those 4
This
frames,
tournament has been the best
unbelievable.
of all time. It will be seen around the world as will 8 of the world's top bowlers, and it's all over.
A monumental 3 days of bowling comes to a
It was
close
just,
here at the
I don't know.
Metrodome in
It's just,
Barnsley.
it was an amazing
In
night
the
session
most
to go in
dramatic of
4 points down,
The last ball goes
and for
down.
the way,
It's
the
irrelevant.
way everything went down,
Team
it was
Europe
just,
are
it was crazy.
victorious
And the
here
fact that,
Yeah.
at the Weber Cup
I mean, me and
15.
Maya
Let's
still
stir
talk
it
about
up
it,
for Chris
you know, now and again. The
and
fact
Team
that
USA,
every one of us
because that was some
threw
performance for
a
them.
really good
But
shot
for
to win.
Chris Barnes, that is not a moment that he
Like,
will want to
each
remember
one of us
for
threw
too
it
long.
really good. And,
It all
I mean,
went
you just
wrong
can't beat
for
seeing
Team
Barnes that
USA
miserable, can you?
in frame 9. And
That was
Team
pretty
Europe,
special, yeah. The way
through
we all come
Dominic
together,
Barrett,
how far back we were,
get this across the line.
team spirit we
So
had,
Wes
especially
Malott
that, well,
steps up.
the whole
He's a
time we
rather
have it, but the last
disconsolate
session where we
figure.
can
He
do
was
stuff like
gonna
that
be the
is
closer
incredible.
to celebrate for Team USA. That is not
Yeah.
how it has worked
Yeah, it was,
out. It's all about the blue
it was a very
wigs
cool night, that's for
and
sure.
the blue shirts of Team Europe.
Need to get our hands back on that trophy, Dom.
I know, I think we will this year.
We're already
Got a few different things happening this year, haven't we? And back to 5 players. I like our chances. Even though they can have jet lag for a change.
Exactly why we've ended up in the Baker. It's all because of his endeavours.
Yeah, it's only, I guess it's only one of us. Although, you know, half our team's coming from the States now as well.
I think quite used to it though, I'd say. So, but yeah, it's going to be good. Looking forward to it.
8-7 to
I have
the
to thank Nick Till at Matchroom for giving us these good feelings and good memories.
Yeah,
Thanks, Nick.
yeah, he's. I want to go back to the days when they were frustrated we were winning so often. Now they're just desperate for us to get a victory back.
42 plays 220, which means that Europe retain the Weber Cup. And they
Yeah, good
retain
times,
it
good
in
memories.
some considerable style and in tears. Cassie Barrett, Dominic's
The wife crying,
the emotion in
Cassie
the
crying.
end.
It means so much to everybody there, doesn't it? That's what's so special about it.
Like I say, Cassie's been crying the last 2 years, but not quite for the same reason.
But now it's time to relax, to celebrate, and to enjoy a quite sensational victory.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing how much it influences everybody, how happy everybody was. You know, the European contingent.
The Team Europe captain was in the end nothing short of genius. A quite sensational comeback.
Let's try and repeat that, but a little bit, yeah, not so close. Get this trophy back.
I don't know whether you heard that commentator then, though, John. The European captain was nothing short of genius.